How to Talk in English. Alex always dreamed of fluent English. He watched countless videos, listened to podcasts, and devoured grammar books, but when it came to speaking, his tongue tied itself into knots. A deep-seated fear of making mistakes paralyzed him, making every potential conversation a daunting, insurmountable mountain, shrinking his confidence significantly. He would often observe other people talk in English, seemingly effortlessly. They chatted, laughed, and articulated complex ideas without hesitation, while Alex felt trapped behind a wall of self-doubt. Their fluency seemed a distant, unattainable peak, only intensifying his quiet frustration and sense of inadequacy, despite his diligent studies. "I don't want to make mistakes, but I always do. Why?" he'd lament to himself, pacing his small room. This question haunted his every attempt, creating a vicious cycle where the fear of error prevented practice, and lack of practice perpetuated the errors. It was a disheartening, endless loop. He desperately sought answers to how to talk in English, not just theoretically, but practically. He needed a breakthrough, a tangible method to bridge the gap between his extensive knowledge and his crippling inability to express it aloud. The silence of his spoken English was deafening. One day, Alex stumbled upon an intriguing article titled "Why You Should Practice Speaking." It wasn't just about grammar or vocabulary. It emphasized active, real-time communication. The article suggested that passive learning could only take him so far, stressing the necessity of verbal engagement. It talked about an English study plan for talking that wasn't rigid or complex, but rather focused on consistent, daily output. The core idea was simple: speak, even if imperfectly, speak often. This resonated with a small, hopeful part of Alex, urging him to reconsider his approach. The article introduced the concept of how to talk to people in pairs, suggesting a safe, low-pressure environment to practice. This idea intrigued Alex. Perhaps a one-on-one setting, free from the intimidating gaze of many, could be the gentle push he needed to finally begin speaking. He reached out to his classmate, Maya, who was also learning English. Hesitantly, he proposed they practice speaking together for 30 minutes daily. Maya, surprisingly enthusiastic, agreed immediately, eager to find a reliable and non-judgmental partner for her own linguistic journey. Their first few sessions were awkward. Silence punctuated their hesitant sentences, and they often fumbled for words. Alex still felt the shadow of mistakes looming, but Maya's patience and shared struggle made the pressure slightly less crushing, offering a small glimmer of hope. Maya suggested a strategy for how to improve your listening skills, too. She proposed watching English shows with subtitles initially, then without, and actively summarizing what they heard to each other. This dual approach would enhance both comprehension and articulation simultaneously. They started with simple topics, daily routines, hobbies, and dreams. Each session chipped away at Alex's apprehension. He noticed that Maya made mistakes too, but she simply corrected herself and moved on, demonstrating a resilience he desperately needed to cultivate. Gradually, the silence between their sentences shortened. Their conversations flowed more naturally. Alex began to realize that the fear of making mistakes was far worse than the mistakes themselves, which often went unnoticed or were easily corrected by Maya or himself. This consistent, low-stakes practice was slowly building his confidence in speaking. It wasn't a sudden transformation but a gradual, organic growth, like a plant slowly turning towards the sun, gaining strength from each small exposure to light and nourishment. They adopted a topic-a-day approach, forcing them to discuss varied subjects and expand their vocabulary. From discussing current events to debating abstract concepts, they pushed their linguistic boundaries a little further each time, making the learning process dynamic. Alex also started paying more attention to how other people talk in English, not to compare, but to learn. He observed their intonation, their pauses, their natural rhythms. He realized fluency wasn't about perfection, but about effective and clear communication, despite minor imperfections. He noticed that even native speakers sometimes hesitated or rephrased. This observation was immensely liberating. It validated his own struggles and normalized the process of verbalizing thoughts, showing him that natural speech isn't always flawless and perfectly polished. The article had mentioned the best way to learn English wasn't a single method, but a combination tailored to individual needs. For Alex, it was clear, consistent speaking practice, especially with a supportive partner, was proving to be his most effective strategy. He began to actively embrace his errors, viewing them not as failures but as valuable feedback. Each mistake became a signpost, directing him towards areas needing improvement, rather than a barrier to progress, transforming his entire learning mindset and approach. This shift in perspective was monumental for how make confidence in speaking. When the fear of mistakes diminished, his willingness to speak soared. He found himself initiating conversations, albeit short ones, with people beyond Maya, testing his newfound courage. He joined an online English speaking club, a virtual extension of his pair practice. The diverse accents and wider range of topics further honed his listening skills and expanded his comfort zone beyond what he had initially thought possible, broadening his horizons immensely. The club sessions provided a platform to practice how to talk to people in pairs on a larger scale. They had breakout rooms where members would discuss specific prompts, ensuring everyone had ample opportunity for one-on-one conversation, minimizing the intimidation of a large group. His listening skills improved dramatically as he navigated different accents and speech patterns. He could now follow complex discussions, grasp nuances, and respond more appropriately, a testament to his dedicated efforts in understanding diverse spoken English. He realized that the best way to learn English for him was a holistic approach that blended active speaking with attentive listening, constant self-correction, and a fearless attitude towards imperfection, creating a synergistic and powerful learning environment. The English study plan for talking had evolved for Alex. It was no longer a rigid schedule but an ingrained habit. Daily conversations, active listening, and continuous engagement with the language in its spoken form, making fluency a natural outcome. He no longer asked, "I don't want to make mistakes but I always why," because he understood mistakes were integral to learning. They were stepping stones, not stumbling blocks, providing invaluable lessons and insights for future improvement and clearer articulation. Alex's journey was indeed a very interesting story of transformation. It wasn't about magic or innate talent, but about persistence, a change in mindset, and the courage to step outside his comfort zone, one hesitant word at a time, until fluency blossomed. He started giving short presentations in English at university. The initial jitters were there, but he pushed through, focusing on conveying his message rather than flawless pronunciation, finding a powerful voice that had once been utterly silent. His professors commended his progress, often noting his growing fluency and confidence. This external validation, while welcome, merely reinforced the internal conviction he had cultivated through countless hours of diligent and often challenging practice sessions. Alex now freely engaged in casual conversations with international students on campus. He discussed everything from academic assignments to weekend plans, his previous shyness replaced by an eager desire to connect and communicate effectively with others. He even started volunteering to help new exchange students adjust, often acting as an informal English mentor. This role solidified his own understanding and allowed him to see his journey from the perspective of someone starting from scratch, reinforcing his empathy. He often shared his journey, emphasizing why you should practice speaking every single day, even for just 5 minutes. He explained how consistent small efforts accumulate into significant progress, making fluency an achievable, tangible goal for anyone dedicated. He told them about how to talk to people in pairs, stressing the non-judgmental environment it provides. He advocated for finding a trusted partner, someone with whom one feels comfortable making mistakes without fear of ridicule or criticism, which is essential. He also taught them how to make confidence in speaking, suggesting starting with simple sentences, gradually increasing complexity, and celebrating every small victory, no matter how insignificant it might seem initially, building momentum over time. He explained that "I don't want to make mistakes, but I always why" is a common trap. He advised viewing mistakes as learning opportunities, not embarrassing failures. This mindset shift is crucial for sustained progress and effective language acquisition. Alex's transformation from a hesitant speaker to a confident communicator was a testament to the power of consistent practice and a positive mindset. He had truly discovered the best way to learn English for himself, making it a truly personal journey. He realized that true fluency wasn't about speaking like a native, but about speaking effectively, confidently, and being understood. It was about connection, not perfection, a profound understanding that liberated him from his previous self-imposed linguistic prison. His journey was a living example of how other people talk in English naturally and effectively, embracing their unique accents and expressions without striving for an idealized, unachievable flawless pronunciation, focusing on clarity instead of perceived perfection. He now understood that the English study plan for talking wasn't a one-size-fits-all solution, but a framework that one adapts and personalizes over time. It was a dynamic process, constantly evolving with his needs and progress, making it truly effective. Alex had discovered his own very interesting story within the broader narrative of English learning. His narrative was filled with small victories, persistent efforts, and the gradual shedding of fear, leading him towards a significant personal triumph. He now actively sought out opportunities to speak English, whether it was ordering coffee, asking for directions, or engaging in spirited debates. Each interaction was a chance to refine his skills and strengthen his linguistic muscles further. His listening skills continued to sharpen, allowing him to absorb subtleties in conversation and respond with greater nuance. He could now appreciate different regional accents and even understand complex humor, a true mark of advanced comprehension. The initial struggle with how to make confidence in speaking was replaced by an inherent belief in his own abilities. He no longer questioned his capacity, but focused on expressing himself authentically, his voice strong and clear. He found immense joy in communicating freely, bridging cultural gaps and connecting with people from diverse backgrounds. English became less a subject to conquer and more a tool for exploration, connection, and profound personal growth. His advice to aspiring English speakers was always consistent: why you should practice speaking. Because it's the only way to truly unlock the language. Books teach words, but speaking teaches communication, the real essence of language. He always added, don't get stuck on "I don't want to make mistakes but I always why." Embrace those mistakes. They are your best teachers, guiding you to fluency faster than any textbook ever could, making your learning robust. Alex's story resonated with many, becoming an inspiration. He proved that dedication, the right approach, and a willingness to be imperfect are the ultimate ingredients for mastering English, transforming a daunting challenge into an achievable dream. He learned that how to talk in English wasn't a secret formula, but a courageous step-by-step process. It involved showing up, being vulnerable, and consistently putting oneself out there, even when every fiber of one's being resisted the effort. His transformation was proof that the best way to learn English is not a single path, but a personalized journey built on consistent effort, strategic practice, and a positive attitude towards the inevitable challenges along the way. He frequently engaged in discussions about how other people talk in English, not in comparison, but in appreciation of diverse styles and expressions. He recognized the beauty in various accents and regional differences, enriching his understanding. Alex's life had truly opened up because of his English journey. He traveled more confidently, accessed a wider range of information, and formed deeper connections globally, experiencing the world through a richer, more expansive lens. He often reflected on his initial fears, marveling at how far he had come. The mountain of fear had dissolved, replaced by a clear path forward, paved with perseverance and the joyful sound of his own confident voice speaking English. The fear of "I don't want to make mistakes but I always why" was now a distant memory. He understood that every error was merely a detour on the road to mastery, not a dead end, and that progress was inherently nonlinear. His personal English study plan for talking now included mentoring others, solidifying his own knowledge while empowering new learners. Teaching became a powerful way to reinforce his own fluency and understanding of the language. Alex's journey underscored why you should practice speaking every day. It's the bridge from passive knowledge to active communication, the transformation from understanding to truly connecting with people and expressing oneself freely. He championed the idea of how to talk to people in pairs as an accessible and highly effective starting point. It offers a safe space, reducing the anxiety often associated with larger group interactions, making it ideal for beginners. The story of Alex proved that how to make confidence in speaking isn't about innate talent, but about strategic practice, consistent exposure, and crucially, a profound shift in mindset from fear of failure to embracing the learning process fully. His improved listening skills were not just about comprehension but also about empathy. He could better understand diverse perspectives, making him a more effective communicator and a more globally aware individual, truly impactful. In the end, Alex's story became a beacon for countless others, demonstrating that the path to English fluency is accessible to all who are willing to embrace practice, learn from mistakes, and never stop speaking, even when it feels challenging. His very interesting story continues, as he now uses English professionally, sharing his expertise and connecting with a global audience, a testament to his unwavering dedication and the power of overcoming personal barriers to achieve his dreams.